How are we doing, guys? All Leeds TV. So we've got a little bit of a different kind of video here today. We're going to go for a bit of a stream today between three main presenters so far. Joe Wainman to my left, and the main man, rambling to the south stand, who's recently joined us. We're just going to chat through the season so far. So we're going to start off with the thoughts on the season so far. So I'll go to ramblings first. What's your general thoughts been so far, mate? Top of the table, highest scorers in the league. Could it have gone any better than this?
No, not really, Oscar. I think we'd be a bit daft, wouldn't we, as supporters, to be kind of vying anything against what we've done. But I'm always cautious, and I think we always are, aren't we? I mean, the last 15 years, I'm going on a negative spiel here, but I think we've got to keep our feet on the ground. But ultimately, you can't. I mean, the football we're playing at the minute, it's something that in my lifetime I've never seen anywhere. As a 25-year-old, I've never seen football like this. I mean, even under TC last year, we were playing some nice stuff, and we can't forget that. I mean, the Burton 5-0 was epic and one of the best performances I've ever seen anywhere. And we've really got to keep our feet on the ground. But so far, I mean, it's perfection. I mean, the football we're playing is scintillating, isn't it? It's cracking stuff. So really positive at the minute for me. Yeah, just brilliant, mate.
Joe, your general thoughts? Anything to add to that? Any sort of personal highlights so far this season? What performances really, caught your eye so far?
Not really, man. I just echo what the rambling says. Really, like some of the football at times, you just get that buzz back going back to Ellen Road. You're going to go and be entertained. You know what I mean? I think the big pluses or the results that I take out is more so the game against Swansea, for example. Do you know what I mean? The fact that we've come away from there with a point, and even against Borough, I think last season we get beat. But like Conor says, that there was some good football under TC for the early period, and I guess the acid test. I know I'm going a little bit further than needed at this moment, but the acid test is Millwall, and it's a similar sort of time as what it was last year. We've had a mint start. I made the mistake last season, with my pals, of saying that it's our time, we're going up, and I ended up with egg on my face. So, you know what I mean? This time I am staying tight-lipped, but fingers crossed we can keep it up.
And if you had to pick up the best performance so far this season, I'd personally pick out the Stoke 3-1. I think just in terms of it's just 90 minutes of just pure domination, really. What would your top performance be so far this season? Would it be the Swansea, the grinding out the 2-2, or would it be just the pure entertainment factor of the Stoke or the Derby performance? What would you two lads go for?
I think personally for me, I mean, I don't know about Joe, but the Stoke performance, I think when we saw that, we thought, okay, that's. But I mean, historically, I don't know if you remember the Burnley game when they first came down. I mean, I was there for that with my old man, and that was a 1-1. But Leeds was superb that day. Opening days of the season, we're normally all right. We do quite well. But so I just thought, okay, 3-1 against Stoke, cracking result. But for me, that Derby game was just we were. I mean, that's a Frank Lampard's Derby, but the good side, depth in that squad as well, and we just tore them to pieces. And that, it was only really a Bailey Peacock foul mistake for me. That was really the bad point of it. I thought Leeds were dominant from start to finish, and that for me that was an eye opener for me. That's when you kind of sat back and thought, Jesus Christ! I mean, if that's what we're capable of, we're going to blow anyone away in this division, So for me, it'd be Derby, definitely.
You can't refer to Derby,
especially to do it in their backyard as well on Frank's first game.
You're not allowed to refer to Derby without saying Frank Lampard's Derby. By the way, you're not. You can't. Yeah, it's they've been renamed that now.
I think after the Stoke game, it was a mint result. It was refreshing to see this new style of football. But I was look at Stoke, they have struggled, and straight away my thinking was, okay, they're just adjusting. Some of them have probably come thinking they were going to walk it. That's why we've, got such a good result. But to then follow that up with the Derby result, consistent. They done consistently well in the Championship, do you know what I mean? So, they'd always fall at the end like Derby do, but for us to go there and batter them 4-1, and the Norwich game as well, the 3-0.
Oh God, yeah.
I forgot about Norwich. You know what? I forgot about the Norwich game, yeah.
But I think for all of us, really, that Derby game was to realise, actually, we might actually be building something big here. The fact that we just steamrolled them the way we did, do you know what I mean? So yeah, it might be.
Lampard didn't have a clue, did he?
After 20 minutes, yeah, it's
his solution was to bring Johnson on, which was probably it's a normal, we all know about Bradley Johnson. It's right thing to do, but once again, he's just ran him ragged. Ledley as well. Just didn't have an answer, and it was. I think that's also the first time where we've really seen Click, Hernandez and Saiz really intertwine, moving across the field, just causing chaos, and Roof as well. Jeez, that second finish.
It's just that it's got to be goal. That's goal of the season. That for me, the whole build up to that move, the pass off Click, which I don't think gets enough praise from me. That little clipped pass, if he just passes it along the ground, Roof doesn't have that finish. It's just the perfect goal. It's a counter attack, and it sums up Bielsa's Leeds more than anything really. So we're going to move on to the next.
But once again, as well, just to add to that, do you about Forshaw? I mean,
it's a tough one, yeah.
What an addition he's going to be, but
how's he getting the team?
You can't put him in.
No. You are right. I think as well, even Bamford, when we thought Bamford were coming in, we all thought he was going to get a starter, you know what I mean? But you are right, but it's options, isn't it? And you just look at last year and the players, Sibicki, J-Roy, Groh, all these players we're bringing off the bench now. We're bringing off Bamford, we're bringing off Forshaw, we're bringing off quality, and Izzy Brown, when he gets up to speed, it's just mint at the minute. Good times. Really good.
So we're going to talk about individuals. Who'd your top 3 players be so far? If you had to pick out 3 players, we know Pablo's been nominated for the Player of the Month. Actually, has been named the PFA Player of the Month. Kemal Roof has also won the player. I'm not sure. Obviously, both have won Player of the Month, but one's for one thing, one's for another. But who'd your top 3 be on a personal level so far this season? I'll go to you first, Joe.
I think I'm not going to do them in any sort of order, just because. But Roof for me massive because last season, honestly, the guy irritated me so much. I know he was our top scorer, but at times, I went to Sheffield United away and some of the running, because it's mad because it lulled us all into a false sense of security that Kemal Ekiban was a decent player.
Yeah.
The bench and ran about for a bit, whereas Roof just weren't doing it. So it was like, this Ekiban's pretty decent. But obviously, we know how that went. But at times, I thought Roof was a bit lazy. But this season is a totally different animal. Because for me, he just typifies what we as a club are about, and the fact he's managing to keep Janssen at the centre-back position. I can't see him getting changed. I honestly can't. I think he's been a revelation. And my other pick would be Mateusz Klich, just because I think it's crazy how, he played for Poland last night. He's been immense for us. And it's just mad that these other managers didn't give him a shout. So them 3 really, because he could have easily spit out his dummy and gone in the summer, but he always said he wanted to come back and prove his worth, and he's done that. You know what I mean? So they'd be my 3.
And Ramblings, would you go along the same kind of lines, or maybe something slightly different?
I mean, if I was to go, you've got to say Roof, haven't you? But if you were to go, if you're looking at sort of the ones who haven't really been the unsung heroes really so far, I think I'd have to go, and I'm the same as Joe with Roof, but in comparison to Cooper, I think he's done really, he's had a solid start. You can't really complain. Benicophobe, back pocket. I don't think you'll get many.
Possibly Cooper's best ever game for Leeds. Would you say against Stoke?
I think so. I thought he was really good. Even I know it sounds daft, but even Jordan Rhodes at Norwich just quiet, just not, and back pocket. And that's Berardi as well, 100%. But I feel Cooper's come on leaps. I've said it in a video as well, but he's got to keep that up. That level, that's where Cooper's judged, isn't it? It's always been, can he keep that level up? In the past he hasn't. But Cooper up there for me.
He always has that tendency, doesn't he, Coops, to start the season well. Like last season was probably the biggest example. He was the first, when we went on that run of 6 clean sheets in a row, he was playing like prime Frank Baresi, to be honest with you. He was absolutely unbelievable. But then Cardiff away happened and he just didn't recover from it. Cardiff away possibly one of the poorest performances I've seen off a Leeds defender. Gets sent off, and then there's a lot of competition there. I'm looking at you, Mr. Belusky, but you know, there's a lot of competition really, but he didn't recover from that. You're just hoping that the same thing doesn't happen again this season. I can't see it happening to that extent again, but he does always tend to start seasons quite strongly, and you have a two there, Ramblings.
Yes, and then I think, and because the Borough game, and I think, you know, there was a one missing cog there, and I think we all know who it was with Pablo. I mean, this season for me, I've always been a little bit, probably some negative twat, but for me, I've always been a little bit with Pablo. I'm always a bit like, you know, some touches, a little bit of strength. I'm always like, come on, like, but what that guy provides, you've really found out today. It's as if he's met his match in Bielsa, so he's coaching him in a way that he's always wanted to be coached. Probably something that he got at Valencia and Swansea with Rodgers, but you know, we're really seeing a proper player there. I mean, he's always been quality for us, but against the Borough game, I mean, you guys will know there was just something where Leeds weren't at our best, what we've been at, and it was, for me, it was him. I mean, that Norwich goal typified it when he that crossfield, but he'd not been in the game, and that crossfield pass to Alioski, were headed, saved, and then clicked with a finish. Yeah. But yeah, for me, him, and then I'd probably go final one. Barry Douglas, I think the guy is giving us balance along the back line, a left footer, left back. Oh, fucking brilliant! That's fantastic, isn't it? Jesus Christ, it's a revelation. But yeah,
it's unbelievable. It works, isn't it?
Oh, it's
unreal.
Crazy, yeah.
It actually gives you width.
I can't remember. To be honest, I can't remember the last like 2 or 3 we had. It probably Charlie Taylor and Stephen Craney. But yeah, I think he's just getting from even. I don't know if you guys thought the same as well, but when we had that free kick right at the end with Douglas when he was over.
Oh yeah.
Wrap this one in. And he was, honestly, Randolph just picked that out of the air.
I know.
Right, but yeah. No, those three for me, definitely. That's it. But Roof has been fantastic as well. But yeah, those three for me.
Very much have to go with the same sentiments, really. I'd go Click and Roof. Definitely have those two in there. And I'd have to chuck Pablo in as well. You know, you see the difference he's made this season. Playing a little bit out of position, I'd add as well. You know, he's last season he was on the left a little bit more often. First season he was just playing as more of an out-and-out 10. This season he's on the right-hand side. He's having to rely on going on the outside of a full-back more. And you think it would rely on pace, but he's so clever. He's not relying on the pace, is he, this season? He's just, it's his touch and his mind. It's just, that makes up for maybe a lack of pace or a lack of maybe physicality for me. But yeah, that'd definitely be my top three. I'd definitely go along with what you boys have gone with. But yeah, that's how I'd go about it.
Crazy. Do you not think it's crazy in this league as well? Like you can get a 33-year-old without pace who can play on the wing.
Oh, it's insane, isn't it? Really, yeah.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
I think one person we all fail to mention, and I'm kicking myself really that I haven't mentioned him, is Calvin Phillips, because
yeah,
I think
definitely.
a lot like Cooper.
Sorry, Calvin.
Yeah, the bop. I think a lot like Cooper, he gets an unfair shake at times. I can only put it down to he's not as. People don't see him in the same light as your Cooks and your Byrons and your all these that came through at a similar sort of time. But today, this season, in that position, he's been absolutely immense. So just shout out to Calvin before we move on. You know. Do you think he can mix it with the best in this league consistently? Going on. Do you know what I really liked? After the Swansea game when he was substituted, the way he came back, do you know what I mean, and put in the performance. I think maybe he got a bit big for his boots. I'm not sure, and was not sticking to what Bielsa had asked him to do. He takes him off. The next game he has an unreal performance. Every block, he nicked one off the Rhodes. He was just everywhere across that. Back line and the
passing as well. His passing's gone through.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, unreal. Yeah.
He's always been tenacious, hasn't he? He's always been able to. He's always been able to just win a tackle or get a block in, but it's the passing more than anything that's. I think that's more. It seems to be more because of his positional change a little bit. He's last season under TC. he was almost been trying to play like a Busquets to an extent, not a Busquets, sorry, more like a John Joe Shelby, at Newcastle that season, or a Ruben Neves to dictate the tempo of the game, and that role seems to be giving more to click. But now Phillips is just there. He's got a little bit more time on the ball, playing a bit deeper. He's not got to worry too much about the press, and he's just able to do what he's shown signs of. The crossfield passing this season. I mean, I've lost count of how many he's made. That one against Borough, where he got just in behind George Trent, it's unreal. It's one of the probably passes of the season, probably, and I think that's probably his biggest improvement. And everything else has just looked after itself, really, and he's just found that perfect position, really.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. Completely agree.
So, next thing I was going to talk about was the general thoughts on the transfer window. Are you happy with it? Have we got everyone you wanted us to sign? Was there anyone who desperately thought, one sign that you thought, I really wanted to see him at the club this in the summer, or maybe we could go back to him in January and try and get him then? What's your general thoughts on it? So I'll go to you, Joe, first.
I mean, we're like Chelsea reserves now. I think one of my mates is a Chelsea fan, and he said he sent me a message actually saying Chelsea saving Leeds again, because I think on the picture of all the youth, there's like 4 or 5, isn't there, that are all ex-Chelsea, I think. These big Brown, Bamford was Chelsea, got Blackman. I mean, when he said saving years again, he was referring to Ken Bates, so I don't know whether or not he meant, because he hardly saved the digit for one. But, yeah, I'm happy with it, mate. I mean, in Bielsa we trust. I really wanted, and I did think for a time that we were going to get Bamford and Vidra. I went on record as saying that, how wrong I was. I mean, he
nice though, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Unreal,
But would Vidra have fitted in? Do you think in the system we're playing a 4-1-4-1, Vidra a natural out-and-out 10 or a centre forward, would he have fitted in, do you think? In hindsight, if we had got Vidra?
I don't know, I think he'd have... would Saiz have been as pivotal to start the season, you know what I mean, mate? I'm not sure, but I would have liked that. But I'm more than happy with how it's gone. It did get frustrating for a period of time where people were saying, we're not doing anything, then naysayers, and I always knew deals would get done, and that was my opinion, and I'm happy, yeah, definitely. Don't know what Conor thinks.
Yeah, I was wanting a centre half big time. I'd have liked. I've seen it just because I've got a couple of mates who are Spurs fans, which is bizarre, being a Northerner, but I have. That one Foyth, I've seen him just a couple of times, and they rave on about him all the time. And I thought that he'd have fit the system really, really nicely. But I mean, like you guys, I mean, I'd have been overjoyed with Vidra. I mean, he's a serious player at this level. I think we can all agree with that one. But yeah, obviously with the video I did the other day, South Stand synopsis. If you've not watched it, go check it out.
Get it watched.
Little plug. But the Izzy Brown, for me, transfer is underrated. It's seriously underrated. I think if people actually watch that season where he did damage at Rotherham, he did damage at Huddersfield, if we can get a fully fit down, up here and down his boots and stuff like that, if we can get that sorted, that is going to be a terrific signing. But the one worry, but we've got to, like Joe said, in Bielsa we trust, but just the centre half, I'm still a little bit. If we could get that business done maybe in January, if we're a bit light there, but it just worries me. It's the little things like last night, isn't it? Even not in the centre half department, but the striking department. I wake up here and straight away you see Bamford got a knock and he went off, and you think, oh come on. But for me personally, it's perfect. Really cracking window, the best window we've had in years.
Are we not in seen half them yet?
Yeah. For me, I'd have just maybe added a centre half. I don't know what you think, Oscar.
I was all on the Kyle Bartley bandwagon. I'm not going to lie. I was furious when he went to West Brom, but I was wrong. But so far, I've been wrong. West Brom have been conceding goals left, right, and centre. Not necessarily down to Kyle Bartley, but I've got to have a lot of respect for that Berardi-Pontus partnership at the minute. Maybe as the season progresses, it might prove to be the wrong decision, because don't forget, about a year ago, there was a lot of rumours about Kyle Bartley, a couple of other players, and then we made this brilliant start to the season. Then we went on like a seven losses in 9, whatever it was, around October. It comes back again. Why didn't we sign Bartley? Why didn't we sign this player? Then Christmas, go back on the goods run. January, we make some signings, and then Feb to May, it's pretty much just... towards the end of the season, there was the Pontus Jansson, Kyle Bartley, Luke Hayden and Berardi song was being sung. That shows, how things can change from the perspective of a transfer window. I mean, it's at the Josh Warrington fight. That was being sung all night. It shows, So I'm happy at the moment, definitely happy. There's no real area of the pitch where I'm thinking we're really weak there. Maybe look at the centre halves, but Pontus Jansson, I think alongside a solid centre back in converted centre back in Berardi, I think would be fine. Coops, I think, is a fine backup if that's what the plan is there. And then you look at the full-backs as well. I mean, Luke Hayden and Barry Douglas, I've never seen quite anything like that at Championship level, really. It might sound like I'm exaggerating, but it's just outrageous, really.
Do you know, for me, I think I see Pep. I don't see Pontus as your first 11 at the minute. Like, I don't know what you guys think.
No,
I think
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When you say that, I think, and it shows that I think the preferred partnership is Cooper and Brady. Listen, I know there was mention of Pennington before, wasn't there? And he wasn't great last season.
No,
he wasn't great at all. To be honest, I was surprised Everton gave him a new deal. I can't believe they gave him a new deal. What surprised me, I thought we'd have got more from City and Tottenham on a loan basis. That Diaz at City, and I know you mentioned the defender from Tottenham.
Phil Foden as well from Man City, who's quite highly rated.
Dream. That'd have been an absolute dream.
I mean, that'd have been like Wolves getting Ruben Neves. It's been unreal, that.
They reckon him, Diaz, and even that 1/4 they're down at Spurs, they reckon they're going to be quite involved in the season now. Guess we don't know that at the start, do we?
Of course. I mean, the Phil Foden one would have been outrageous if we got it through, but
can you imagine?
I am a bit surprised though. There's not more Man City players. I mean, we'll look at that Checker as well, who went to Preston, striker. I think it was a third striker. That one obviously never quite went off. I think obviously chose Preston instead for the game time. But I think we'll move on to the next little bit, something that's a little bit different. We've said about Pontus, he's not in the starting 11. But I think in a one-off game, you'd probably have Pontus starting every single time in a one-off game.
David.
But how do we get these players into the first team? Your Adam Forshaws, your Pontus Janssens, your Izzy Browns. How are they getting into the team? Is it through the others having a bad game, or is it through them having a good game in training, or do we need to rotate that team a little bit? Now we've got about, I think it's roughly 6 games in about 4 weeks, so 2 midweekers as well. We're out of the cup, so we've got a bit of a rest there. But do we need to rotate the team a little bit more? With the intense style of play as well, would you look to rotate things, or are you a little bit worried by that? Them likes of Forshaw, Izzy Brown, Pontus Jansson, getting a bit frustrated at lack of opportunities and potentially disruption to the team harmony. I'll go to Joe first.
I think for me, I don't think you should ever mess with your defence too much on a rotation sort of basis. That's just my opinion. But in terms of Forshaw and Izzy Brown, definitely, I think you have like-for-like replacements. I don't think Forshaw would be as much of a goal threat as what Click would, but in terms of linking the play and passing the ball, he's up there, I think, with the best in the division, in my opinion. He's an experienced Championship player. I think he's great. And Izzy Brown, for me, a lot like what Conor said, he was unreal that year Huddersfield went up, and I think it's gone unnoticed because of the hype round the club. We had the game on the Friday against the Borough, but believe me, when he starts to play games and he hits them heights, people will start to recognise. I was speaking to a Borough fan. I can't remember Izzy Brown, and I'm like, well, you soon will when he pulls on the Leeds shirt. Do you know what I mean? So, them sort of players, for me, leave the defence. Only make changes if you must. But in terms of Forshaw and Izzy Brown rotation, especially Saiz, we can't expect him to play in that position for the full season, and people are sort of wising into him. The man marking him, they're on him a lot more. He seems to not be getting as much space as he did in the earlier games. That might be just because we're playing, Borough and stuff. But I think Izzy Brown will definitely see a lot of. I think anyway.
And Ramblings, what are your thoughts? Would you be slightly worried a little bit? That the other players might get a little bit downhearted at not getting the opportunities, maybe in the team, or am I looking too much into this?
No. I can empathise where you're coming from, really. I mean, the big one for me, and because he's been such a fixture for us the past 2 or 3 seasons now, and he's kind of our man, really, isn't he? It's Pontus, and but at the end of the day, it's one of those where we've spoken about it, but it's if you're not good enough, it's not. I don't really know if you can say you're good enough, but if you're not playing the way, let's say, a Berardi is, then how do you get? It's not bad. It's probably the best depth in the league in terms of quality wise as a second centre half sort of thing that can come in. But for me, he's the one for me because I think like last night, for example, he captained Sweden, and if he's not regularly getting football, he's so passionate for his country as well. I think he's a big personality as well, isn't he? But I can completely understand where you're coming from. I think the likes of Izzy Brown, though, he's only a young lad, so he's going to expect it. Bielsa laid out the plans to Izzy Brown. He knows exactly what he's getting. He's only 21, so with fully fit Samu Sai's playing, he's going to be featuring a lot more. But what depth to have in that position? Jesus Christ. If he's especially hitting those levels that he hit, with the likes of Aaron Moy, Hogg, Kachunga, Quainer that season, if he's hitting those levels, take it back to the Huddersfield games. I went to both Huddersfield games that season, and in the second one especially, I was there, and he was
the away game.
Was that the away game?
Yeah.
He was superb that day. Man of the match for me. But I'd say maybe Pontus. But I think, like Joe said, I think the one who we're going to see the most of is definitely going to be Izzy Brown. As well, there was rumblings at the start of the season of possibly Adam Forshaw at centre half.
Yeah, it's never got tried in pre-season though, did it? Really, it was more Calvin Phillips tried in that role, and I think Bielsa does like Forshaw. I think a lot of the way it sort of happened was like when Forshaw was injured, I was gutted. I saw him as the he's just a reliable 7 out of 10 man in that team for me. He's like the James Milner of the team to an extent. He's just so consistent with his performances. He never really stands out as such, but you just know when you need someone to keep the ball, he's your man in that situation. And I'd really like to see if at some point in the season Sive tires out, Phillips loses some consistency, I wouldn't mind seeing a Forshaw and Click midfield partnership. And I think that really gives us the basis then just to control games from the middle of the park, which we haven't had for a long, long time. It's only really this season where we started to really control things. That's you look at last season, we had Kane and that lot strolling all around the place. We had Calvin Phillips suffering from a result of that. Ronaldo Vieira not quite fully fit, even though I didn't think Ronaldo Vieira was that bad last season. Trying to think of the others we had in there. We tried Conor Shaughnessy in there at Birmingham away. I remember that.
Was terrible.
It went wrong.
Decision.
It was when
that game. We got
him behind it.
By Birmingham.
Behind it was because he was tall.
That was the moment, really.
It's an interesting point, though, you raised there, Oscar, because I don't know about you boys, but when I see Adam Forshaw play, what I love about him is he's got a football IQ, he's got a brain, and I think in football you get a lot of players, especially in that midfield, where you can control the game, who just lump it, but wayward passes. I think we saw a lot of that in the, with like the likes of Unino Kane. I don't like to get on his back too much, but he never really reached those levels for me. And Forshaw just never gives the ball away. He's very good in tight situations. And him and Click, they really, interestingly enough, at Brentford, Forshaw actually got, I think it was 11 goals in about 81 appearances, so which is a decent rate for a midfielder, and he was playing in that number 10 role as well. So maybe Bielsa has looked at that and he's thought, I can try him again in this position. So he has goals in his game, but Borough used to play him in that role, didn't they? And obviously Heckingbottom loved that sort of rigid formation, so he wasn't really able to flow, and it wasn't fluid, was it? But him and Click, that could be some serious partnership there, yeah, definitely.
much like you say, even if he isn't going to start, like what a quality player to be able to bring off the bench in them tight games where, you know, we need to keep the ball a bit more and stuff. He's going to be ideal, isn't he? So it's just the positivity, the squad, everything's just really good at the minute. We just need to continue, man.
Now, the other thing I was just going to talk about was what we said about the winger situation out wide. You know, how we play Pablo as on the right-hand side. He doesn't really play as an out-and-out winger. He sometimes cuts inside, or he'll just try and, you know, use his head more than anything. He never really runs at a player because it's not really his kind of game. But then you look at the other side, Alioski. He's quite an interesting kind of player this season so far, in the sense that he doesn't really take players on as such. He's more of a wide forward, to me anyway. He's more of a wide forward than an out-and-out winger. Does that slightly concern you that we've not got that rapid pace? You know, in the game where you may want to get a team on the counter-attack, or you've got in the tight situations like Borough the other night, you know, when you just need someone to open the game up a bit. You know, I was talking about Borough, you know, like an Adama Traore. You know, I said about the transfer window, is that maybe the one thing we maybe lack a little bit? Just someone to open up a game. Obviously, it's hard to really say that now because we haven't really had that situation, but someone to open up a game. You know, when someone tries to park a bus at Ellen Road, like a lot of teams probably are going to try and do, would that be something maybe that's a slight concern? Or is Jack Harrison that man as he progresses this season? I'll go to Ramblings first.
I would terminate Hadisako's loan and get him back in there.
Nice.
No, let's be real. It's a real good point there, mate. I think that I can't really remember. I don't know if you boys can, maybe Max Gradle, but I can't really remember the explosive pace that Leeds have had. I mean, Snoddy used to get away with it because he was just quality. I mean, if he had that yard of pace, Snodgrass, he'd be a top 6 player, wouldn't he? Yeah. But then anyway, I'm not sure about now. But yeah, I think it's a real concern for me. And just going on a tangent about Alioski, what I liked about him in the Stoke game in particular, and I picked it out a little bit, was I don't know if Bielsa's got into him, but what he seemed to do in that game, I don't know if you noticed, but he'd get the ball out and whip it in, Yeah. No taking on a man, he wouldn't do it because it's not his game. I mean, but he's a left back by trade. He'd get it out, whip it in, but there seems to be the old habits creeping in again, doesn't there? The sort of the dragging the opposition player down when it doesn't go his way, the stupid fouls, and you know, I know it's been a bit harsh on him because the guy, the thing is, he will always get you a goal. He's always going to get you a goal and an assist. He's always involved some way. But yeah, the issue for me is that it's that quality really on the left. Exactly like you say. I mean, Adama Traore, maybe that's next level sort of stuff. But definitely. Jack Harrison, it was nice to see him against the Borough, but
he did well.
Is he the finished article yet? He's definitely not, but he's only a young lad. It's a slight worry, but I think it's not as much of a concern for me as the centre back role. But you know, it's not really at the minute. But I do worry about Alioski.
I think. For me, the jury's still out. I think he's played really well in games. In other times, he's frustrating. I mean, he needs to learn the offside rule because that is doing everyone's head in. I think we missed out on is it Jefferson at Derby?
Joseph soon.
Ideal, you know. He's scored goals as well, hasn't he, already? And he's not started a lot. I think he's got a couple already. But yeah, for me, the jury's still out on Alioski. At times last season he was brilliant, and then say Forest, for example, Forest away, and then sometimes he goes missing. He just needs to be more consistent. But like Conor says, you know, Harrison was really good on against Borough. And let's see more of that. I think you touched on it before, Oscar. Maybe he's finally starting to adjust to the Championship. So yeah, I think with regards to Alioski, he's just so inconsistent at the minute. The jury's still out. Like I say, some games he's really good, much like last season. You know, like the Forest game, for example. And then he goes missing for a period of time. He's so frustrating to watch as well, especially with the offsides. And like Conor said, I think Harrison, played really well against the Borough. We did miss Pablo, which I felt a bit harsh for him, and I said that in my video because everyone was like, but it was clear we missed Pablo, but it wasn't because, Harrison had a bad game, it was just we needed someone to open up the door. But yeah, we did miss out on the kid from Derby, Josephson. He would have been ideal, I think, for what we're looking for in replace of Valioski if we were going to replace him. Because I do think sometimes we need someone who's going to beat a man with a bit of trickery and deliver balls into the box. Get to the byline and stuff. But the jury's still out for me on Alioski. But if you look at the whole of the forward line, for me, he is the weak link of the rest of the guys.
Yeah, I think with the Josephson thing as well. I think when we were away at Derby, I think you saw him come on, and it was kind of a bit of envy. I mean, we were 4-1 up, but he made a real difference, didn't he?
Oh, definitely, you could see. Yeah,
so quick.
He did make an impact. Yeah, he did.
So
definitely.
quick.
So, I mean, there wasn't so much a criticism of Valioski. I mean, it was more the actual squad would just have that pacey play. We can just bring on. And obviously, Alioski, he's still got his weaknesses. He's far from perfect, but he is getting goals for us, as Conor rightly said. As long as he gets us 8 to 9 goals, I don't care if he goes offside 20 times a game or...
I don't know about that, like...
Well, no, okay. Maybe 19.
Honestly, some of the stuff I shout at him when he's offside, man, it's so frustrating, man, but I get where you're coming from.
But yeah, it's one of those. He's not that kind of player. He's going to be involved in the game. He's going to give you a 9 or 10 out of 10. He's going to take on the fullback. He's going to meg the fullback and all that lot.
I also think that Barry Douglas is going to bring his game on tenfold.
Yeah.
I just think that lovely balance they've got on that left-hand side, 2 left footers as we've spoken about, and just you always see Douglas with the overlap or Douglas just in behind it. They're always very tight together, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think
they are very dangerous. When they're on it, when Alioski's on it, you know what I mean? Because Douglas hasn't had a bad game yet, but they're so dangerous on the flank. You're right, mate, on the left-hand side. They are so dangerous.
And I think Barry Douglas enjoys playing with Alioski because he knows he can go. He knows he's playing alongside a former left back. He'll drop in for him. If he needs to. If Barry Douglas is like 40, 50 yards up the pitch, Alioski can just drop in. It's that intelligence between the two, and I think they really enjoy playing together. And yeah, so
he's just, for me, he is. I mean, Taylor for me he got a lot of bad press. Charlie did. But Charlie was a cracking left back, but Barry Douglas is he's fantastic. He's raw quality, isn't he? Just
and
quality.
It's quality, the amount of money we got him for. It's crazy, really. But much like Oscar said earlier, we have got the best fullbacks in the league, without a doubt. And do you know what I mean? I think, how much did we get? Ayling, there was all that stuff going on at Bristol City, I think, because of the... Was it at the races where they pissed in the thing and were pouring it on people? I think that was... Do you remember? That was...
Classic banter, Luke Ayling, that, isn't it, really? Just...
Yeah.
If that happened at Leeds, the first person you think of would be Luke Ayling. Sorry, Luke, but it'd be the first person I'd think of. It'd be...
But I think that's the mad thing. Collectively, what will we pay more than $4 million for the 2 best fullbacks in the league? Do you know what I mean? So we're laughing. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's brilliant, really.
Do you think we can go into a back 3 as well? And if obviously Bielsa has this reputation for a 3-3-1-3, which we haven't really seen at all so far this season. Maybe a little bit against Stoke. Do you think there is a potential there? If things go wrong, we drop somewhat an extra centre back. And we go with Luke Ayling on the right as a right wing back, Barry Douglas as a left wing back. It's a nice option to have, isn't it, really? Do you think that's something... that's part of Bielsa's thinking when he went in for Barry Douglas?
Do you know, there's so many...
Question.
Yeah. I honestly wouldn't know. I mean, I don't want to sit here and just talk for the sake of talking. Do you know... I think we all knew with regards to his formations. We don't sometimes when you look at it, you don't know what's going on, do you? But like in Bielsa, I'm just happy. I'll let the analytical man talk to you. Move on.
I'd say. Are you talking in terms of having 3 centre halves and then then
Potentially, maybe in the middle of the game, or if we go on a bad run, there is the option there to go to a three at the back with two fullbacks like Luke Hayden and Barry Douglas.
I'd say as a definitely at home. I think away from home in this league, and I think we'll see this in the next game, it's going to have to be, your role, your system, no changes from that. Hopefully no personnel changes, and keep to that sort of system and trust. I think being able to temper with the system can be something we could do maybe when things are wrapped up at the end of at the end of the season. But it's an interesting one really, because I mean, what instance would you do that really? It's I'm not 100% sure. Maybe against the lower league teams where we need to open them up a little bit more. That could be something we do. Maybe deploy it against like a Rotherham, like we said. Maybe something like that. But yeah, it's an interesting point, mate. I think. But for now, I'd say we stick to what we're doing, definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just a plan B, really. I'm sure Bielsa, as much as he says it's all about the plan A. Yeah. He is always thinking how he can change things. I remember against Rotherham, he did actually, for about 5 minutes, he brought on Pontus Jansson. It's weird that I remember this, but we got the second goal. Rotherham brought on a second striker, and this is how seriously he takes his system. Always having the one more centre back than the other team has striker. And obviously, most teams in this league go with one up front, so most of the time, four at the back's fine. But he always wants that extra centre back, and he was that serious about it. He brought on Pontus for 3 minutes when Rotherham brought on the second striker. So, is it possible, against Millwall? I mean, they're the biggest 4-4-2 team I can think of at this level. Morrison and Gregory.
Have you seen what he said?
Game. I'm not having a go at those two. I'm just saying that's very much what Millwall and Neil Harris's belief is. Could that maybe see Bielsa go back to his belief? I don't know. Of having three at the back.
Have you seen what Morrison said? Sorry to go off point. Have you seen what he said?
Yeah.
About being Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
But he wasn't Zlatan Ibrahimovic at Leeds, I'll say that much.
Show that goal. Show that strike against Forest.
Wow, my leg.
Highlight reel.
I was in the East Stand that day. I was ducking.
Oh, do you know what, right? He was shy, weren't it? The shift. We all called him the shift, didn't we, right? But there wasn't really that much needle, I don't think, until the last game, when we had that, 7-goal thriller, was it? Or 4-3, wasn't it? Did it end up 4-3?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, last season. And he was giving it all this to the crowd, do you know what I mean?
He didn't even score. It was an assist.
I don't know where he's got a real sense of. He's always really up for it against Leeds. Yeah. He always seems to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, ex-players always seem to bite us in the arse, but he's one who really seems to thrive in it, doesn't he?
He just seems so bitter against us, but I don't know. I've nothing against the guy personally. I think I met him actually during that 14-15 season. He comes across a really nice guy, but it's
giving it all. I'm going to put him as Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
But I mean.
Honestly, I hope we absolutely batter them because he will get loads. Do you know what I mean?
It's going to be tough, isn't it? Jesus.
It was mad because when we drew level in the game last season at home and we were all singing Morrison, what's this guy? And they fucking went Rangers, man. I'm fuming. But we'll see. I can't stand him, me personally, after last season. But yeah,
I was in the South Stand that day, and he did. He let us know what the score was. Put it this way, when they got the fourth goal. Yeah, To be fair to him, it was quite funny, really.
They should have had that game wrapped up by then, though. It was embarrassing that we'd even got back in it.
It was just a ridiculous game. Lasogga that day. Oh my word, Lasogga that day was just that left-footed strike.
I'm so happy he's not here anymore. I'm so happy.
I mean, hold it all in, Conor. Don't have a full-on. But yeah, I don't think Lasogga would do so well in this system, to be honest with you, of having to actually run. But there you go.
Back to the game, though. Back to the Millwall game. You are right. It's going to be a real test. They're going to be so up for it as well. And like I said, we'll see. But I think that's, for me, is the real acid test, because I genuinely think if we come away with 3 points, we'll go unbeaten for the month of September. I genuinely believe that. The fixtures we've got, I think we've got Preston at home, Birmingham at home, and then we're away at Sheffield Wednesday. I genuinely think if we beat Millwall, it would buoy us up so much that I reckon we could go the rest of September unbeaten.
Yeah, I mean, I echo that. I mean, for me, it's the hardest place to go in this league. I'll stand by that. I think it's they've got a very good squad down there. I mean, great result for Swansea the other day, getting a 2-1 of it. It wasn't a 2-1 game. I mean, Millwall were all over them for 70 minutes. But yeah, it'd be a crap. I mean, last time we won there, I think it was Ross McCormack won it 1-0. But that'd be that. Yeah, for me, Joe, that'd also. We're at a point now, aren't we? We're at a pivotal point where we've got comparisons from last season.
Yeah.
And if we manage to overcome that, I mean, I'd be buzzing with a point, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
I was just about to say, Wolves and Cardiff, both top two last season, didn't win there last season. They got points. You know, it's a massive. If we can just get something there, you know, that's the main thing. I mean, the only team I can think of who won there recently last season, well, towards the end of last season, was Fulham away. I think Fulham won there 3-0, and Fulham, obviously, last season were absolutely incredible that second half of the season, but it just shows what a difficult place it is to go to. Because what I can remember,
Oscar, look at Borough. I mean, Borough.
They were on the ropes there. Yeah.
And then too, you know, kudos to Borough definitely, but they were. I mean, even at daft things like even on the fan channels and watching the highlights back, they were battered that game, and they came back into it and got fair play, probably like we did at Swansea. But you know, the Millwall, they're tough. They're a different team at home, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think away from home, as you said, when we got back into that 4-3 last season, you saw the weaknesses of Millwall. But I think at home it's tougher to get at them. It's not so much just the, you know, I've not really got anything against Millwall as such. You know, I don't really see them as a massive rival at all, to be honest with you. But they hate us. Let's be honest. They absolutely despise us.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
You know, it's they. You know. No West Ham in this league.
I think as well, just to add to that, I think as well that the thing as well that gives Millwall a little bit of not an edge over us, but they get up for this fixture is because Neil Harris has played in it multiple times. He understands Leeds. He understands a little bit of the rivalry we've got going on now, and they will be. I mean, especially off the back of a loss, they'll be coming into this fired up, and you know. But if Leeds go there and we play our game, Millwall are an average team. They're just
definitely.
They're a very good unit.
Yeah.
But if Leeds go there and we play our football, then they're not going to have an answer. They're really not.
If we can score early doors, let's say for example, first 20 minutes, we could go wild. Do you know what I mean? It's
The first goal is going to be crucial in that game.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be a cagey affair, but if we can get off to that free-flowing football early doors and get a goal early within the, let's say, first 15, 20 minutes, we could have him in day there, and I'd love nothing more. And that's what I mean about it being pivotal. If we come away, like Fulham, like you said, if we came away with a 3-0 result or something like that, it would just buoy them up so much. But I think there'll be a lot in it for the lads last season. They'll want to show us that they have progressed, do you know what I mean? Especially with Morrison saying what he said as well. I think a lot of the lads, for me, like I tweeted Phillips yesterday, I hope he fucking goes through him. Do you know what I mean? I think there'll be a lot of that there, and sometimes you need that though. Do you know what I mean? I think let's get that printed off. I mean, I don't know if this would be Bielsa would do it like that. Do you know what I mean? But me as say Cooper as the captain, I'd have that printed out and I'd have that on the wall. I'd be saying, look what this idiot's saying. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think if we score early doors, I think we'll be fine, and hopefully we can. You know, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm not a fan of the international break at best of times. It's a little bit better now because of how well we did in the World Cup. But I just already counting down. We're a week away now, aren't we? So let's get. I just hope we go down there, and for once I can't. Even the 1-0 with McCormack, I remember that game. But we've never gone down there. This is credit to Millwall really, because this is what they do to you. But we've never gone down there really, have we? And put in a proper performance. You know, stood up to him really, have we? We've never really done that.
I can't think of one. I mean, I remember 09-10. We lost the first game of the season, the promotion season under Simon Grayson. We lost our first game at Millwall. And that was the moment where the team looked absolutely invincible at that point. It looked a lot like this team does now. You know, we played Liverpool in the Cup a few weeks before, absolutely battered Liverpool. You know, going back to 2009 here, but I just remember that Liverpool game, we battered them in the Cup. They got a good goal. We just couldn't quite score against them, and then we just looked, other than that, we looked absolutely unbeatable. And then Millwall, I think they got a goal after 5 minutes, and then you thought, actually, you know what? we are beatable, and I think that's what Millwall are good at. They thrive in these kind of games. They know it's credit to Neil Harris really, and the previous Millwall managers. They know how to play to that crowd to an extent, and it's not. It's to an extent, they always had that phrase on the cold, wet Wednesday night at Stoke. It's almost like that in Millwall, really. Can you do it at Millwall? Can you get a result there in the tougher games? And, last season, our performance there was... I'll probably go as long as saying it's pathetic, to be honest with you. We were absolutely shambolic that day. It was...
I was at the bit. We were at the. I couldn't get tickets down there, but I got on the beam back. I took my missus. It was like the first game down there, and she'd seen it, and we just got. Well, it was.
I went down.
Do you remember that first? Did you? Do you remember that first 10 minutes? That first 10 minutes, it could have been 6-0.
I remember Felix managed to flap at a free kick, and for some reason, I still don't to this day know why, it was disallowed, and Morrison tapped it in. It's just the whole performance was just, and we were unbeaten at that moment. So it's still feet on the ground for me, anyway. But in terms of main contenders, obviously Borough are strong favourites alongside ourselves. They're second in the table, best defence in the league. What other contenders are you looking at there? Who's impressed you? Sheffield United, they're third in the table at the minute. Derby have recovered since that. Frank Lampard's Derby, sorry. We need to call them by that. They've responded really well to that defeat against us. I think they're on 12 points. West Brom, as I was saying, are scoring a lot of goals. Who are you genuinely looking at and thinking, they're top 6, they're top 2? Who's really caught your eye so far this season, other than Leeds? I'll go to Ramblings first. Sorry, mate.
To be honest, I'm not sure. We're not going to like this because of this newfound rivalry we have with them. But I think Borough look really good. I don't like saying it, but I think if you've got that back line, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you saw it against us. I mean, they're just so good. They're just everything is efficient. I think if Leeds had spent another 4 hours there, we still wouldn't have scored.
How can you score against it?
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
And I think if they maybe even in January, and maybe they can add a little bit of something in the attacking element. I mean, they've got it now, but maybe something a little bit more. I mean, they've got the likes, Mo Besic, and I genuinely think that they'll be right up there in the top two. They just got Danny Batty on from Wolves as well, haven't they? I think they bought that George Saville from Millwall. Saville, yeah.
Helps also a bit, that one. George Saville not playing for Millwall next week.
Yeah, definitely.
Big miss for them, that. But yeah, I'd say it's going to be for me as well. A lot of people are ignoring them. I think Brentford will be a force. They're a fantastic team, Brentford. They really are, and it's one of those. If we can get a result against them, home and away, then you'll know Leeds have really turned a corner. I mean, I don't know if you boys remember when we were down there last season as well. It was another Millwall affair. We just got battered again. Speedveld with another howler. But yeah, I don't think Brentford will be far away, and I think I'll go with West Brom as well. I think they're going to make a real recovery. I mean, they're my three, to be honest. Aside from us.
Yeah, I think. Like Conor says, Borough have got to be up there, haven't they? They haven't conceded a goal since the Millwall game. And I just, like you said, you could go on. I just can't see how you score against them, man. They're just so strong at the back. I mean, they're minging, aren't they? But they're just strong. It was horrible football. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm surprised Sheffield United, because they got turned over, didn't they, by Borough? They got battered 3-0, which surprised me, and then we turned Derby over for so maybe we are just the two that are just going to break away. You never know, do you? But you've got to always fancy Steve Bruce and Villa. I know, you know what I mean. They've spent again.
How?
Tally Abraham, what a signing that is. I mean, I've got to say, it's a game changer, that, isn't it? To the extent, I just feel it's. That was the one area where I looked at Villa and I thought, they look a bit weak up top, and then the sign Tammy Abraham, and you're thinking, oh, yeah.
Kept hold of Grealish as well.
Yeah, true. That's
I mean, if they don't go up this year, what happens? They surely must be done. You know what I mean? But for me, you've got to fancy them. They'll be in the top 6, and then West Brom. I just think having Rodriguez, who he seems to be on fire. And then you've got Dwight Gale there as well. They've just got goals, haven't they? So they'd be my picks as well. For us personally, I think I'll take top 6, but I genuinely think we could end up top 2. That's fingers crossed anyway. But yeah, they're my picks, mate.
I think another team, as Conor spoke about, Brentford. 2 teams at this level who have always surprised me, always play lovely football. Brentford and Bristol City for me. 2 really good footballing teams, but they always just fall away, or they just have one bad run of games and never quite make the playoffs. And obviously both have come again. They've both teams have lost players, but they've just rebuilt. Both got young English managers, both playing an attractive, playing out of the back, real, good style of football. And it's interesting. Are they going to be up and around there? It's just such a difficult league to predict, really. Logically, you look at someone like Stoke, who I don't think any of us have mentioned yet, but obviously Stoke have made a terrible start to this season. But you look at the players they've got at that team. They've just signed Ryan Woods as well. It's ridiculous, really.
Do you reckon he could get the sack, Rowett?
Possibly. You're looking at. I don't think the fans are happy. I know a couple of Stoke fans. I don't think they were so much expecting to walk the league. I don't think they actually rate themselves as much as maybe what we do as outsiders. So everyone had them down as top 2, really. Stoke, and it's an interesting one. But you think they probably will recover. Fulham and Villa themselves didn't make great starts last season.
No, exactly. That's the thing.
Cardiff as well were a bit patchy too. So. It's tough to say. Say about ourselves, the top 2, top 6. I said at the start of the season, top 6. I think you have West Brom for top 2
now. One top 2 now, don't we?
Top
really?
2.
Don't we? That's what we're thinking. Genuinely
it's one of them. It's obviously, if this team can't get top 2 or push for automatic promotion, then we might as well pack up and go home. To be honest with you, I know that sounds a bit of a depressing thought, but. You're thinking in the situation we're in, the start we've made to the season, the signings we've made, we've got Bielsa. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, if we don't go up this season, do we have Bielsa next season? That's in the back of my mind. I hate having thoughts like that, but I only have to go back to 2 years ago.
Radrazani said it though, didn't he? Radrazani said it. I don't know if it was the interview, but he said it was something on the lines of, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was, 2 or 3 years, and if I can't get it up, I'm,
I'll go.
But a lot of people took that the wrong way. I think that when he said that, took it as him saying, "I'm going to go for it all in the first season. We're going to make sign after sign," and that was sort of used as a stick to sort of beat Radrazani with, really, especially last season when I thought. What's happened to this quick plan and all that? We're going to sign in some of the players we signed last year, but I think I see more of that ambition this season. I think it's more.
I think when they initially came, it was a 5-year plan. Hence, they bought all this youth and all these prospects, and then he's seen how far off we were, and he's changed tack and said, "I want it sooner." I think what would excite me, and I genuinely feel if we're there or thereabouts come January, I think he will invest further. He's not going to do, like what Bates and them did when Grayson was there, and just lead on. Yeah, he will invest. You know what I mean? I genuinely believe that. I think when you touched on Bielsa, I think the one good thing about Bielsa is it's not about the money. He's long in the tooth now. It's more about the project. And I think obviously top 6 or whatever, I can't see it happening. But if someone massive came in, but for me, I think if we just missed out, I think he would still stick around because I think it's more for him about the project. And we're growing, man. Even look at the youth, the under-23s yesterday when they steamrolled Bristol City 5-0. I just think as a whole unit from bottom to top now, we seem to be a lot stronger, and that's down to Rads. It's just quality. The state.
Also, to add to what we were talking about earlier as well, the Alioski problem, Jack Clark.
Yeah. He's got a screamer as well yesterday, right?
Outrageous form at the minute.
Yeah,
I watched it. He was top. He's direct, a little bit like Shackleton. Saw a lot of it against Swansea. That was brilliant. That direct move that led to Bruce score. But they play with no fear. We saw that with the boys like Milner and Delph and Cook. They play with no fear at that age. Get them in. Give them a little bit of a chance. And
do you think in time, every time, because I've just finished watching the City documentary. and seeing Delph, and I just kept thinking, we're going to have him and James Milner back one day, and I can't wait.
33.
Next year in the Prem. Get him back.
Yeah, Milner, he would though, wouldn't he? Just going off on a tangent.
I believe Milner will come back.
Yeah.
It's
I even think Delph will come back.
But it's not going to happen. It's going to be a long time until you look at the way James Milner started this season.
Yeah,
I mean, I've not seen a more informed midfielder in the country so far. I mean, I've seen pretty much every Liverpool game. He's 33, James Milner?
Yeah, he's getting on, isn't he? He's definitely getting on.
You get to the 90th minute, and you just can't stop him. He's just like, anyone see that video of Milner in pre-season training with Liverpool, and Klopp had them doing this thinking. He said, "Who's going to win this year again?" He says, "James Milner. I'll put my house on it." Something along those lines.
Yeah.
James Milner obviously wins it, and then he goes back around for another lap just to win it outright. Like everyone's saying, you don't have to, but he's just there. He's just there running around. It just sums him up. But yeah, I can see Milner happening.
I'd love that. I'd love that. That maybe we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves after about 7 games.
Open top boss.
We're pretty much up if we beat Millwall, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, my video.
No, we're not up until 09-10 taught me to wait until that very last kick on the very last day to celebrate. We almost had the breakdown of all breakdowns after winning at Old Trafford January 3rd. It was possibly the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, and then we pulled it back. So, no, absolutely not. We've still got to keep the feet on the ground. It's still, even if we're still top after the next 7 games, going into the next international break, there's still a long, long way to go. We've seen so many teams fall off a cliff, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be a good little journey at least. I think this season, no matter what happens, it's going to be enjoyable to watch at least. I don't think we're going to go into a pragmatic team, and because that's what happened last season, wasn't it? Under Christensen, I think, and Heckingbottom to an extent, they lost the belief in the style of play. Christensen's the worst. After Millwall, I think that really affected everything. And we were going more direct. We weren't passing out of the back. We were changing, the team every game. Certain people were falling out, etc., etc. It's just avoiding that this season, avoiding the complete and utter breakdown. Really, that's the main thing.
He had no understanding for me of what the likes of going away to Cardiff or the way to Millwall. He had no Borough. He had no concept of what was going to happen. Whereas with what we've got now, we've got a guy who watches everything, every movement. He's pretty much CCTV, and he just watches everything. So you're hoping that he understands exactly what we're going to get this weekend. And like you say, but no game is easy in this league, and we figured that out last season. For example, when we played Wednesday last season, they were on an absolute horrid run, and they played us, and they really gave us a turning over. But what I mean by that is, we've got to go into every game with that mindset of, we're going to have to stand up here and be counted. Every single player. It's got to be. Every game's a cup final, isn't it, in this league?
Yeah, definitely.
And that Sheffield Wednesday game where Barry Bannon playing like just Pirlo in his prime, it's just ridiculous. That was just getting over that game. It just took forever. Just Vivaled in that game as well when he wouldn't clatter into Gary Hooper, and I still see that now. When Gary Hooper approaching, just thinking, take him out, Felix, take him out. And then no, he doesn't. He just sort of stands in his line and just goes in. But there you go. It's one of them. Boys, I'm going to wrap this up now. Thanks very much for watching. Joe Wainman, as ever, top class. Conor from Ramblers of the South Stands, top class. We'll see you later. Make sure you check out our videos this week coming up. I'm going to do a quick review of the England game. Thoughts on that. And I'm sure during the week, Conor with the South Stands synopsis, Joe with his Monday Night Football. Just make sure you subscribe and watch all our content. Thanks very much for watching. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, fellas. See you later, boys.